Hi, my name is Jacob ZERKEL, and this is my course plan for Christian Leadership Lead 3641. So right now, I currently serve as the associate pastor and youth director at my church. Every week, I lead our middle school and high school youth group. I teach young adult Sunday school, and I also preach once a month. And along with that, I also co-lead a church podcast, which releases bi-weekly episodes, and then during the day, I care for my 2-year-old daughter while my wife is at work. And so life for me, it's pretty full, and it's about to get even fuller. My wife and I are expecting our second child on July 9th, and on July 1st, I will be stepping into the role of lead pastor at my church. And so this season for me, there's a lot of merging of calling, change, and responsibility, and then also preparation. And so that's why I'm really excited for this course. You know, I'm not just looking at this course as another box to check, I guess, but I'm really trying to prepare for what's ahead. So my personal goal for this class is twofold. So the first goal that I have for this class is to at least earn a B+, while also being able to stay present in my ministry and family life. And then I want to apply course concepts in real time to strengthen my leadership as I prepare again to transition into that lead pastor role. So this course really comes at a perfect moment in my life, and so I'm just really excited about it. So some of my strengths walking into this class. So I am originally a high school social studies teacher before becoming a pastor. Like I said, I was a high school history teacher, and that experience really shaped my ability to explain complex ideas clearly, being able to connect with people from various backgrounds, and also manage my time and workload effectively, all of which I think translate directly into leadership and ministry. Another strength, leadership experience, through teaching and now in pastoral ministry. I've led youth, I've taught young adults, preached regularly, and collaborated with various church teams, again, doing similar things as a teacher. I have a really good support network. I have a really strong circle of people around me that obviously includes my wife and my family, but it also includes my church and the staff and the current lead pastor, who in many ways is my friend, but also my mentor and someone that I look up to. And so I know that I have people I can lean on during busy seasons of life, or when I'm really stressed out, or just if I have questions about things. And then lastly, flexibility. My daily schedule is pretty full, but I have the flexibility to be able to shift things around when needed. Like, yes, I'm busy, but I'm in control of when things happen in my life. So let's, I guess, talk really quick as we move over into barriers. Just like a look at my regular schedule so you understand what my life looks like. So on Sundays, I mentioned that I teach young adult Sunday school, and I also lead youth group, both middle school and high school. On Wednesdays, I record our bi-weekly church podcast. Every single month, I preach on the fourth Sunday of the month. Every single day, I help take care of my 2-year-old daughter. And then, just looking ahead for my schedule in the spring, Holy Week is going to be very busy. And also as my responsibilities start to change as I transition to lead pastor. So those commitments highlight some of my key barriers or weaknesses, which we're going to talk about next. So the first one, yes, my schedule is flexible, but I also have limited time, right? There are only so many hours in a day between ministry prep, coursework, family care, leadership planning, taking time to do things that I enjoy, my hobbies. I really enjoy reading, so being able to do all those things, I'm going to need to be strategic about carving out dedicated study time for this class. The next one, another barrier, lack of experience. I talked about, yes, I have ministry experience, but I'm only 28 years old, and so I think this course is going to cover areas where I need growth. I looked ahead for budgeting, formal meeting leadership, and also systems evaluation. Those aren't really my strongest areas, so I'm going to need to approach those with humility and also a learning posture. Next one is managing energy. So it's not just about having time, it's also about energy, and there's only so much coffee that I can drink during the day. So I want to be able to stay emotionally and spiritually present for my family and also for my congregation, not just, showing up exhausted. And so that's going to mean that I need to schedule times of rest and also being able to know when to say no to people, which is something that I also struggle with. And then lastly, just overall workload. I'm balancing seminary and my church position, my family responsibilities, and the overall load, it's pretty significant. And unless I stay proactive on top of things, looking ahead, it can become overwhelming very, very quickly. And so because of those challenges, I'm going to make some adjustments for this class and for the weeks ahead. I'm going to make sure to block out early morning and late evening specifically for study time. That's actually what I'm doing right now. My daughter's in the other room watching Scooby-Doo, and here I am doing homework. Next, I'm going to be working ahead quite a bit, especially during the quote-unquote lighter weeks, to prepare for Holy Week, because that week will be very, very busy for me. And then lastly, just trying to learn to ask for help over these next few weeks, especially maybe with childcare and ministry delegation when there are big projects due. So let's talk now about the course plan. So I'm going to move me here. All right, so week one. We're currently in week one, making a course plan. So what I'm going to do, it's what I'm doing right now, I'm going to record this presentation and submit it along with an action plan, which instead of having a written action plan, the plan's going to be in front of us. And then I'm also going to finalize my weekly study times and coordinate support with my wife and just another church leader to help out. So I would like to have this video done and recorded by Wednesday night. It's currently Wednesday morning, so I'm ahead of schedule, but that way I can review the video. If I need to make changes to it, I can do that, and that way I'm able to submit it on Thursday without having to create, review, edit in one day. And real life impact for me, what I like about this week is that this is like the groundwork week, right? Like if I get this right, then I think the rest of the course will feel a lot less overwhelming. Planning early, I like to plan, and so planning early gives me room to lead and also be able to rest well later. So week number 2 is going to have to do with casting vision, if this will work. Yep. All right, so cast a vision week 2. So what I'm going to do for this week is I'll be writing a personal leadership vision, not just for my church, but for who I'm becoming. And so I'm going to focus on my vision for me, on what kind of pastor, what kind of lead pastor I want to be. And I want to focus on being present, being consistent, being humble, but also being able to speak truth to people, because I want to build a church culture that ultimately reflects grace, is that rooted in Christ and that we are focused on mission. So deadline milestones for me for this. So I want to have the outline for this paper due by the Monday of that week. And then I want to have the draft done by Tuesday, because that gives me 2 full days to both review, edit, and then submit the paper, which is going to be due on Thursday. And I also really am looking forward to this assignment, because as I prepare to step into the lead role position, it's important to have a vision for what our church is going to be, but it's also important to have a vision for what kind of leader I am going to be for our church and for our congregation. Week number 3, then, we're going to look at theology of leadership. So what I'll do, I'll be writing a paper about how theology shapes leadership. Looking ahead, I already know I want to reflect on Jesus as a servant leader. I really enjoy the shepherd imagery found in Psalm 23, and Jesus is the great shepherd, and then focusing on the responsibility that leaders have to reflect God's heart. So deadline milestones for me for this, I plan to block out 2 90-minute sessions on Monday and Tuesday for really focused writing. Going to be doing that in the morning. I know that I'll be able to have some help with some of the older ladies at church who I can reach out to. They have offered to do that. We have set those up, and so I'll be doing that. And then I aim to have the paper done, at least have it finished Wednesday night. That way I can review it on Thursday, make any changes needed so I can submit it on time. All right, week number 4 then. we're going to be focusing on creating a budget. So I mentioned that creating a budget isn't in my strengths for leadership. So what I'm going to be doing for this, I decided that I'm going to be creating a realistic monthly and also annual family budget. I'm going to be including current income and expenses, as well as planning for our new baby in July. Our expenses are going to be drastically changing in the next couple of months. And so I thought that, it'd be good to work on this, work on it with my wife, and maybe ask for some insight from our current pastor into pastoral budgeting. And so my deadline milestone for this is I want to have the budget details finished by Tuesday of that week, and then really be able to have it done and ready to turn in Wednesday. And you should see a pattern. When I want to be ahead of schedule in my workload. That way I'm not scrambling to try to finish everything on Thursday. All right, next is going to be week 5, which is performance review. So what I'm going to be doing, because this week falls on Holy Week ministry events, we have a lot of things going on in our church this day. We have Maundy Thursday, we have a Good Friday service, we have an Easter egg hunt on Saturday, and then we also have Easter Sunday. So I'm going to be completing this assignment 1 week early. During week 4, I'm going to be doing that, really starting on that Thursday, so the day before. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to be evaluating a youth ministry volunteer who I think has some calling maybe in their life to expound on working with youth. And so I want to be able to have this assignment finished by Wednesday, April 16th. Next is week 6, which I will be leading a formal meeting. So again, I talked about this as an area where I lack experience, and so I want to be able to grow in confidence and presence and being able to lead a meeting, because as senior pastor, I'll be leading meetings, obviously. And so practicing now will help me prepare for consistent leadership meetings in the future. And so I'm going to be leading a structured ministry meeting, most likely with our youth volunteers, and I'll be making sure to have a written agenda, to have time limits for me, and defined next steps. And then I've also decided to have a mentor to observe the meeting. I may just ask if I can have the meeting recorded and then provide that video to them and ask for feedback. And we are going to be having the meeting on Monday that week. I've already reached out to our youth volunteers, and they are good to do that. And then I will be leading it, obviously, and then having that written reflection done by Wednesday morning, so I can have Monday evening and Tuesday morning and evening to work on that assignment. Week number 7 is the systems audit. So what I'll be doing is shaping the action steps that I want to take in my first 30 days as lead pastor, and this is going to give me a chance to build structure where I think that changes need to take place. That way we have a sustainable ministry culture moving forward, kind of hit the ground running, I guess. So I'm planning on evaluating systems by Monday, have the draft reflection by Tuesday, and complete the chart by Wednesday for that week. And really just trying to identify, what's healthy, specifically in 3 areas or 3 ministries that our church has, what's healthy in those 3 areas, maybe what's unclear, maybe what's missing. And then lastly, we come now to week 8, which is final integration. So I'll be writing a reflective summary of how this course has impacted my leadership, reflecting on what I've learned, what I've applied already, and how I'll continue to grow after the course ends. So I'd like to reflect and be able to have an outline done by the Monday of that week, have the draft finished by Tuesday, be able to revise all day Wednesday, and then be able to submit it on Thursday. And then, just as I conclude this presentation, oh my, we're at 15 minutes, so I will wrap this up. As I conclude this presentation, I just want to say how grateful I am for this course and just how timely it feels for the season that I'm in. Because like I said, on July 1st, I step into that lead pastor role at our church, and that calling really excites me. It humbles me because I want to be able to be a faithful servant for Jesus. And, be able to be a courageous leader like Joshua was, and be able to be a servant who reflects the heart of Jesus in my actions, and also in my decisions as leader. And so my commitment for this course is very clear. I want to get at least a B+. I want to grow in areas where I'm less confident, and most importantly, I want to be able to apply what I'm learning in real time. So thanks for watching.